Gardening is definitely an experience. It's full of wins and losses. It's full of calm and chaos. Nothing more disappointing or more fulfilling. Have you ever been frustrated with weeds? I sure was. That's how I stumbled across this mixed mulch garden system. I thought folks might be interested. This is the newest part of the garden, and right outside the gate, we still have grass growing, obviously. But then check this out. Got a pumpkin growing right here at the edge. Couldn't be out in the garden where it's nice and clean. And this is what I mean, it's an experience. And for over 4 years now, every Saturday, we've used this time to go to you and see what's going on in your garden. This is where we get ideas, this is where we get inspiration, and this is where we get motivation to come out here and try this experience. And like with most everything else, we can learn from each other's experiences. Saturdays have become my favorite day of the week. I gained friends from all over the world. One of the first contributors to come garden with us on Saturdays was Walter. Walter is a really good example of gaining garden experience. When he started, it's a very small area. He still has that small area, but look what he's done to it. Walter started off with just peppers and tomatoes. Then he decided he was going to add some cucumbers, which turned out to be an okra plant. Easy enough mistake to make in a pot, especially if somebody changes the tags on you. But over the years, he's added trellises, he's added cages, he put a top on top of his garden, and now he produces more food than he can hardly handle. Come a long way, but that's experience. Walter, I cannot believe the jungle you have going on here in this garden. Walter is a longtime contributor to this channel, and I know he wouldn't mind me using him as an example. If you've ever thought about getting your hands dirty and growing your own food, you can do this too. We've got 2 new contributors this week. Jan is a first-time gardener, and it looks like she's taken quite a bit of advice to set up her garden. She said she's learning from her mistakes, but it looks like she's doing pretty well. Her melons are growing like crazy. She said she's having a lot of fun. Jan, welcome to this community, and thank you for sharing your experiences.
Oh, look at that.
And one of my experiences is I take my tomatoes when they get about this much color on them, when they first break or they go to blush. They ripen really well inside. There's been tons of college studies that show that they're not taking any more nutrients from the plant. And this way I'm not sharing them with the bugs that I have. Now I want to take a look at another group of first-year gardeners that sent in a shot showing that their tomatoes actually setting fruit. First time ever. Now if they would have taken the advice of people experienced in their area, they wouldn't even have tried. This is high desert, very sandy, very poor soil, but they've used some of the tips and tricks from this community. They've added some mulch, they've amended that soil, they've put up some fencing, and they had to because in the high desert, critters come out at night and eat everything that they can. Even with the great challenges that they're facing, a few successes had motivated them to keep going. This is the way we all started. I'm going to need to take a few more of these off. See, even this one right here, we've got a bug starting to gnaw on it a little bit, but that'll be okay. Let's talk about this heirloom tomato. It's called Carla. Now when we were first trellising this, it had a nice little branch right here, so I went ahead and double trellised it, but the branch didn't hold and it split, and we've had tomatoes on this side. I've been waiting for them to turn to blush so I could harvest, because I'm going to have to clip this off. Although it's still producing leaves, it's still connected, but I have fear that this side's not going to do so well. And if we clip this off, this other side's going to go ahead and take off. But I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of these tomatoes that have turned to blush. I'm going to let this wait just a little bit more because we got a couple more tomatoes on there. And these will be pink. Oh, look at that, something ate on the bottom. This variety is bright pink when it's completely ripened, and it is very tasty. Well, how about that? Zinnias are very fast growing. You can plant seeds right now and still have flowers this year. Planted these about a month ago. That is wonderful. Now, if you remember, we went ahead and rooted some tomato suckers and planted them. They're doing really well. Well, hello. In a few days, we're going to be able to pick beans. You can see this little patch of green here. That's bok choy coming up. That's from this bok choy that was in the coal frame. We're going to have a nice little field of choy here next to this volunteer squash and the beets I planted in amongst the corn. Now, off over here is where we planted those sweet potato vines that we went ahead and rooted. I told you, they look pretty puny for a few days, but they're coming on strong. And our asparagus is doing its first year thing, but we have several nice butternut squash that are just about ready to come in, and this was a volunteer squash. Well, I didn't see that growing. Oh, and we got one in here in the container with the mint. Now I'm going to need to figure some way to tie these up. These are going to get way too big just to hang here. And while I do that, let's go ahead and look at Jim. Jim is a second-year gardener. He took his experience from last year and rebuilt his raised beds. Proof is in the pudding. This looks wonderful, Jim. Thank you. And please leave a comment and let everybody know just how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on in their garden. And the mixed mulch is doing pretty good with everything we have out here, and we got succession planting going on. We got things volunteering. I thought folks might be interested. Now, we did get word from Bill. He's more of a seasoned gardener. He's in Virginia. His sweet potatoes and watermelons are doing wonderful in the deep mulch. Bill, this is terrific, and I appreciate you sharing. And I invite everyone out there to help motivate others. Show them what's possible in a garden. You can do this too. And to become a member of this community, there's no commitment. All you have to do is send in a photo now and again to WaylandSmalley5@gmail.com. The address is in the description box below. We got a volunteer tomato just popped up here next to our peanuts. Now, if you find any of this helpful, please hit that like button. It helps YouTube push this out to more people that might want to learn how to garden. You're doing pretty good. Now, one of the things that we have talked about is growing things that you like. The vines of the butternut squash, just like the sweet potatoes, will continue to root along the entire length of it. You can actually add some dirt where the leaves are coming out and help encourage that. That way, if you get a vine borer by the base or you get any kind of squash bug damage, the rest of the vine will continue to grow and produce squash for you. Now, on the sweet potatoes, they're just going to continue to make tubers everywhere they root. So as long as your season is, the more times you can get them to root, the more sweet potatoes you'll get. And the only way I know that is because I've experienced it. I've been out here, I've been in the chaos, I've been in the calm, and now I'm going to go eat. You can do this too. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.